Guys, we are back. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys so much for your viewership. Today I'm gonna make a short video on explaining to you guys how badass the Humvees are. First thing is, if you guys obviously know that the Humvees are some of the widest vehicles that there is out there, and they designed all that on purpose. The reason is it's actually 7 feet wide, and it's like that because they're designed to, if in case there's war or whatever and the tanks go through rough terrain, they can actually follow the tracks of the tanks. Okay, so that I mean, that's pretty badass right there. If you guys look, most cars have the disc brakes right there on the hub, right? Well, this one, the H1s are designed, obviously you don't see that, right? This is called a geared hub. Okay, so if you look at the drive shafts, you see how the drive shaft is flat, it's not directly in the center. Well, it's designed like that so it doesn't lose that much power, and these are actually called geared hubs. So inside this, there's actually oil and there's gears in there. So the middle of the hub, it has gears. So since you don't see any discs or anything, guess where the discs are? So there's nothing down here, right? Obviously the differentials right there. So there is where the disc brakes are, guys. That's pretty badass. So you can cross any rough terrain and it's completely flat on the bottom. That's pretty awesome. Like I mentioned earlier on the other video, these tires, they're pretty, I don't know what type of rubber this is, but I know that obviously this is a 1992, and most regular tires, they start cracking. If you see these tires, there's hardly like any cracks in there. I don't know how old these tires are, but they're pretty badass. You would think that this Humvee they're pretty heavy, right? Because the H1s are pretty heavy, but the gross weight on these is 5,200 pounds, the way that it is. And all of these are designed, obviously you could take this panel off, you can make it a 4-man, you can make it into whatever the military, whatever they need it for. It's designed so you can outfit it that way. So this one is, I actually have, you see these little I guess they're like clips. So these rails go on here over the top, and it has that other, I guess like that other canopy, and it has the bench seats. So you can actually make this a 10 man or a 10 soldier truck. Okay, I guess like you could say that those are like the medic ones. So these don't have any keys. In the last video I showed you guys that I started it up without the, so basically you just have to have it on neutral, put on run, and then start it up. So I do have the keyed ignition for that. We're gonna install that. Basically anybody can steal it if they know how to operate them. If you guys know what these are not for looks. This part, and then the ones in the front, these big ones right here, they're called slings, and they're designed for when they're on those big planes. That's where the parachute attaches to them. So you can actually lift it up if you have something strong enough to lift it. You can actually lift up the truck with those. If you have like a forklift or something, you tie like a chain or something here that can withstand it, you can actually lift it up. So overall, the truck is pretty badass. It's all aluminum except for the chassis and the hood. So obviously you could kind of see some little areas where the paint's falling off. I'll give you a better example. You see here, that's aluminum. So it's basically all, the chassis is made out of steel obviously, but everything's made out of aluminum, and the hood is made out of fiberglass. So if you look at the thick shell, I'll open it right now. If you look at the shell of it, it's really thick fiberglass. So some of them come with these brush guards, and some of them don't. In order to open the hood, you have to open these up, and then the brush guard comes down. I already opened that side, this side, and there we go. So this engine, this is a 1992 AMG, and the reason why these were, or they made them into the civilian series, is mainly because of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He saw a convoy of these, and he wanted to get his hands on one, but obviously back then there wasn't any civilian or any Humvee out there for civilians, and AMG wanted to make one, but it wasn't at their top of their list. But because of Arnold Schwarzenegger, you can thank him, they actually made the first H1 C series, and the C series stands for civilian series. I'm not sure if the first ones came with this engine, but this one is a 6.2 liter diesel. It's a General Motors diesel engine. It doesn't make a lot of power. I think it makes less than, I'm not sure, I don't even think it makes 150 horsepower. But I mean, it's a very strong engine. After they released the H1, I believe they came out with a 6.5 liter turbo one, and then finally, I know they made a couple of gas ones. They had a 350, it didn't have a lot of power, it wasted a bunch of fuel. And then finally they made the H1 Alpha, which is the ones that are like 200,000, 250, depending if they're all tricked out, they're like 300,000. But we are gonna put the H1 Alpha engine in here, which is a Duramax 6.6 liter with the Allison transmission. It's gonna basically make this beast drive like a modern truck. It's actually gonna be faster than a modern truck. It's gonna have 500 horsepower and 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. So we are gonna do a couple things to this one in the meantime. That kit costs about 35 to 40,000, but we are gonna be installing a K&N intake, and we're gonna be doing some mods. We're gonna change out the fuel water separator, the diesel separator with the water, because if you guys don't know, diesel can absorb a lot of water compared to like gas. So that's just a couple things about the Humvee that make it badass. But stay tuned, guys. We are gonna be doing a lot of mods to this. Well, I'm gonna walk you guys through the steps of changing out, for example, the geared hub oils. I did change the engine oil just because I was driving it around for a little bit. Right now it's summertime and it's super hot, doesn't have AC, so I'm not gonna be driving this that much. So I did just change the oil on it. I believe I use 1540 oil, weight oil, and it does use 8 quarts or 2 gallons of it. So I did that just to have a little bit of peace of mind. But with a vehicle this old, I mean, you kind of do want to change the fluids on it just to be safe. You got that beefy spring. So guys, thank you so much. Stay tuned. I appreciate you guys. I'm out.